Okay. Good morning, everyone. I would like to welcome you to the third webinar of the EEF webinar series. My name is Katerina Liberi. I am a member of the Sustainability Working Group and Sustainability Events Coordinator for Longines EEF series events. Today's webinar is dedicated to the topic of the event sustainability. The objective of this part of the webinar is to review the principles of sustainable development and to identify and confirm the principles and values that guide the Longines EEF series events. This objective will be achieved by discussing all together and building strong connections between us, by having common goals regarding event sustainability and the growth of our events, by exchanging knowledge in events management, and by adding useful tools in our toolbox. At first, let's see a short video about sustainable development and why it is important.
Hi guys, do you have time for a few quick questions? I see you're having a lot of fun, but do you ever stop and think if what you do is sustainable? And do you know what sustainable development means? Sustainable development is to make the world a better place for everyone now without destroying the possibilities for the next generations. If you wonder if something is sustainable, you can ask yourself, can we do this over and over again forever? Sustainable development means that we need to keep three things in mind at once: social progress, economic development, and climate and environment. First of all, we have to take care of our planet. We have many natural ecosystems that must be in balance in order for us to live here. The climate system is one of them. This system ensures that the temperature is correct and that the atmosphere emits exactly the right amount of solar energy. When we emit harmful greenhouse gases, such as CO2, we clog the atmosphere. This changes the temperatures on Earth, which again affects our development. How we produce and use energy is incredibly important. Oil and coal are examples of energy we may run out of. Water, wind, and sun, however, will always be here. Using the lasting sources of energy that renew themselves is good for the planet and can provide jobs for years to come. Economics. Almost everything we develop, buy, and trade starts with nature. The smarter we use our natural resources and the better systems we create for a fair distribution, the more sustainable we are. One way to contribute to a more even distribution is to be more aware of what we buy and how it is produced. A football is a good example. It travels far before it reaches the football players. First, the materials are made. Then they print the logo somewhere else before a third country sees it all together. One single football sees the whole world before it reaches its goal. This journey ties us together. If we are to win the battle for a sustainable future, we have to play with fair rules that applies to everyone. Social progress. We humans are part of nature, but we're also important resources for the world. Just like water, the forest, and the sun, we have minds that can create the strangest and most creative things. But for us to be the best versions of ourselves, there are certain things that must be in order, like having equal opportunities to education, safety, food, and medicine. This provides greater opportunities for us as human beings, but also for the planet. We just have to think in new ways. These three must work together. That is sustainable development. And there's actually a plan for this. All the countries of the United Nations have agreed on a joint plan for sustainable development. But for the plan to work, we need to cooperate, and we need you to be on board. Are you with us?
The video we just watched refers to the Sustainable Development Goals. These goals are a set of global objectives established by the United Nations to address various economic, social, and environmental challenges. There are 17 goals with specific targets to be achieved by 2030. The Sustainable Development Goals are intended to mobilize global efforts to end poverty, protect the planet, and ensure prosperity for all. They provide a framework for governments, businesses, civil society organizations, and individuals to work together towards a more sustainable and equitable future. Beyond any doubt, sustainability should be in everyone's mind during any professional activity in any sector. But which are the benefits of embracing sustainable practices in a sport event? The main positive effect is that the inclusion of sustainable practices builds community and social license. Adopting sustainable practices in a sport event not only benefits the environment, but also contributes to social, economic, and cultural development while promoting long-term sustainability and resilience. To name a few benefits, event tourism can help to build awareness of a destination, showcasing it with the event used as a hook. This can then lead to increased visitation, further extending the other benefits. By engaging with local contractors, product and service providers as a first priority with sustainability in mind, you support local businesses. A sport event can be catalyst for rejuvenation or creation of facilities and infrastructure. Entertainment, cultural, and education opportunities due to the event and its programming can impact positive local communities. Excitement and pride in being the host of a socially responsible event strengthens the sense of importance. And of course, the event can promote positive values like sustainability. The global goals can be used to focus our attention on various aspects for management and to help develop an understanding of how our event can be a catalyst to progress sustainable development. Transport, energy, food, resource efficiency, water, biodiversity protection. There are many touch points where we can bring the concept of sustainable development into the event production and delivery. A standalone event can have a single target each time and to focus on one matter to address. Examples of suitable sub-goals for events are to host a plastic-free event, an event with zero food waste, or a paperless event. Sustainable development concept into the event experience is a way to embrace sustainability values and to share them with the stakeholders. Bring relevant sustainable goals to life through the event by including the themes in the event programming, messaging, and entity experience. You can add sustainable development as topic in the show program, display the purpose that you are supporting through the various components of the event, gamify the sustainable goals, and include this in eco-edutainment activities. Help to raise awareness through collaboration with a local or international institution that is founded to support a sustainable development goal. At this point, I would like to share with you 2 examples of including sustainable development content in a sport event based on my personal experience. To combine our voice with an institution that has a goal to drive change in a specific sustainable development goal is an effective way to influence people and raise awareness. An event can promote positive values by supporting the cause with the means of influence that has. In 2019, during the Athens Equestrian Festival, the message of sea change was shared to the audience and the participants of the show. The Athanasios Laskaridis Charitable Foundation was established to act as a catalyst for important issues. Its projects focus on the protection of the marine environment and the fight against marine pollution throughout the Mediterranean. One of its projects is Sea Change, which aims at making multi-level interventions to protect the marine environment and raise awareness for the reduction of pollution caused by single-use plastics. To support Sea Change, we distributed as a present to the athletes, chefs d'équipe, and volunteers a multi-use cup with the logo of Sea Change. The video message of the project was displayed in the big screen throughout the whole event, and dedicated social media posts were published before, during, and after the event, as well as a page of the show program was dedicated also to the project. Another way to include sustainability in a sport event is eco-edutainment. The term combines ecology, education, and entertainment to describe a form of entertainment that is designed to educate and raise awareness about ecological and environmental issues. This approach aims to engage and inform the audience in an entertaining and enjoyable manner, making environmental education more accessible and appealing. The goal is to inspire individuals to adopt more sustainable practices and contribute to the conservation of the environment. In 2019, the Hellenic Equestrian Federation, in collaboration with the Hellenic Recovery Recycling Corporation, hosted the Recycling Amusement Park. The park was open to the visitors, among them schools and families, and offered environmental education by using interactive and entertaining elements like Wheel of Luck and bowling game. Integrating sustainability into event planning and management adds values to the event because activities that integrate sustainability into their core values and operations can experience not only positive environmental and social impacts, but also long-term economic benefits. As a result, sustainability has become a key factor in the competitive landscape, making it not just a responsible choice, but also a sellable one. Sustainability initiatives can lead to cost savings in various ways. While there may be upfront investments in implementing sustainable practices, the long-term benefits often outweigh the initial cost. Sustainability can be a powerful source of inspiration on various levels. Embracing sustainability provides individuals and organizations with a sense of purpose and promotes the community engagement. Also, the challenges associated with sustainability encourage innovation. The need to find new, sustainable solutions to environmental and social issues inspires creativity and problem solving. Event sustainability is not only a responsible choice, but also a strategic imperative for organization in the events industry. It addresses the evolving expectations of attendees, regulators, and stakeholders while contributing to positive brand image, operational efficiency, and the long-term success of events. To create the sustainability framework for your events, there are 6 steps that need to be followed. Number 1 is to define your strategic intent. Think about what good you want to do in the world, why you even exist, and what guiding principles and values you might stand behind and for. According to those answers, you will be able to establish your vision, mission, and values. Number 2 is establishing your strategic foundations. Create the foundations of how to manage your approach. This would include the responsible production practices, using the event as a platform to amplify sustainability messages or concepts driven by your purpose and positive impact approach, and any enduring legacy you wish to give. Step number 3 is to decide on what is most important. Through a diagnostic and stakeholder engagement process, you would identify the key themes or topics to be focused on. Ultimately, you will identify the top priorities where the organization wants to create a real impact over the long term. This in turn will enable you to set your policy commitments and establish objectives and targets. Next step, number 4, is about commitment. Develop policies to help keep you on track. Establishing what is must take and what is preferable should be done early on. This will help to guide decision-making, especially where a budget consideration to include. To set your values and mission statements, it is essential to have policy commitments and instruments which will enable you meeting those big ideals. Step number 5 is to set your targets. Objectives and targets include metrics for performance evaluation. An objective could be, for example, 0 waste to landfill, and a sub-target could be 100% of all food traders to have compostable serviceware or bars to have reusable cups. You can also set it as a reduction target to embed continual improvement. For example, 50% reduction from the last event. Last step is to make a plan of action. Create sustainability action plan, which are detailed list of activities and initiatives for each functional area involved must do to meet the goals and objectives and set the organization on a path to the vision. In the sustainability plan, you will have to answer the what, who, how, and when. People are the most important asset in getting the sustainability mission to work. Stakeholders are any individuals or organizations who have an interest in your activities, have needs or expectations, or who may be affected positively or negatively. The sustainability agenda of the event should be communicated internally and externally. Staff, suppliers, sponsors, or any other stakeholder that take part in the event preparation phase must be aware of the sustainability actions we take. Participants and audience play also an important role to achieve the desirable results in the sustainability objectives. Sustainability messages, campaigns, information, instructions, and calls to action can be included in the communication of the event. Emails, newsletters, event website, on-site signage, event program, staff and volunteer inductions, on-site announcement, and video can carry your messages to the extended stakeholders, while at the same time shows to the public your commitment and support to the sustainability goals. Another important element for implementation of any project that you may have is a roadmap. A management roadmap is a strategic plan or visual representation that outlines the key steps, milestones, and objectives involved in managing a particular project or process. It serves as a guide for management and team members to understand the overall direction, specific actions needed to achieve the desired outcomes, which helps to guide management activities and ensures alignment with goals and objectives. To put theory in practice, let's make a review of the tools that we have specifically for Longines EEF series events. EEF has developed a set of documents which describe the road to a more sustainable future, and you can find them at the EEF's website. The initial steps that were described in the roadmap have already been taken by EEF. In the green policy, you can find the topics that were selected to be addressed: waste reduction, responsible water consumption, protection of local biodiversity, promotion of technological advances and innovation, as well as the aim to create fair ethical standards and to consider the impact on the course of all actions create the sustainability framework. Especially for events, the Sustainability Working Group, in collaboration with experts, developed the Green Code of Conduct, a document that sets out the minimum environmental requirements and recommendations to reduce the impact of our competitions on the environment and provide EEF partners a path for continuous improvement. Green Code of Conduct was shared with all organizers in March of 2023, along with the survey questionnaire. The sustainability survey is based on the principles and best practices outlined in the EEF Green Code of Conduct and focus on the topics of governance and reporting, energy and fuel consumption, water use, supply chain, and waste management. The sustainability survey can be used not only to understand where our event stands in terms of sustainability, but also as a tool for planning. The questionnaire includes questions that the survey includes questions that can lead us to be prepared in certain areas. Organizers can use it at any time, for example, before the event as a checklist. Question 1 is, do you have a person in charge of sustainability? If the answer is no, you get aware of this issue and may be urged to start looking for the person that will cover this place. Also, it can be used as a tool to set targets. For example, in the question, do you have LED lighting, common areas, stables, etc.? If today you have 1 to 20%, your answer is 1 in the scale of the survey. 1 is an answer that can be improved, so you may set a target to reach 50% of LED lighting next year, and then your answer will be 3. Let's see what happened in 2023. We received the feedback from 6 events, which helped us to understand the situation better. We thank all organizers for the valuable input that will help the further improvement of the events in terms of sustainability. Let's see the areas that the survey explores and some facts and highlights after reviewing the answers provided. The questions 1 to 4 are about governance and reporting. One of 2 significant facts that were revealed is at first that all organizers have appointed a person responsible for sustainability, which is very important for the future. The second one is that the majority of the organizers try to act in an environmental friendly way, but these actions are not part of a plan, and this is something that needs to be fixed. On the other hand, it should be highlighted that 2 events, Mannheim and Kronenberg, have plans in place. Especially Mannheim has plans for all topics that are investigated in the survey. Also, Les Mannheim is the only event that publishes a sustainability report in accordance with selected GRI standards. Questions from 5 to 9 concern the energy and fuel consumption. In this slide, I would like to outline one opportunity. The increasing interest on electric vehicles all around the globe urges the industry to focus on promoting the new products. Equestrian events can be a comfortable field of play for these products, can bring new sponsors or expand the benefit of old sponsors, while can be a cost-effective tool for organizers. In some cases, money could be saved if, for example, you have electric cars for free to drive the officials, or if you provide electric scooters for in-venue moving. 2 examples. As far as highlights, we can see that the event of Mannheim has taken significant measures on energy saving, like producing green energy by installing solar panels in the stands, by having electric vehicles for shuttle service, and by appointing a person responsible for fuel use control. In the third part of the survey, we are looking at what happens on the matter of water use. One point that we can understand is that it's complicated to measure the water use of a venue. It is common practice of the permanent venues to use rainwater or recycled water for the arena maintenance, and when the venue is open to public, there are some popular practices to save water in common areas, like time-controlled showers and low-flushing toilets. The next set of questions refer to the supply chain management. In this section, we can understand that some of the industries regulate their activities by themselves, creating the framework to operate. To adopt sustainable practice, it's a competitive advantage for them and give us the option to choose the more sustainable one. For example, there is a special certification for timber products, so we as clients, we can choose the product that carries the sign FSC. The sign stands for Forest Stewardship Council and means that by purchasing FSC label products, you are helping forests and the people that rely on them. So a brief research of certification and labeling can lead us easily to more sustainable choices. The last part is about waste management. One issue is the waste produced by horses and the other about the general waste of a sport event. In the questions, does the manure produced during the event is collecting in areas containers in a safe way to avoid water contamination and pollution of the environment? And in the question, does the manure produced during the event is removed in cooperation with certified companies and it is handled by the contractors in line with the environmental guidelines for this kind of waste? The answer of everyone is, of course, yes. For the other waste, recycling is the most popular way of sustainable management. According to the requirements of each country and is in cooperation with local authorities and foundations, this can be done very effectively in the sport areas. After receiving your feedback and processing the information, we resume the lessons learned. At first, we understand that the system is not mature yet to provide measured data and reliable reports. It is one point that we should be able to improve with the aim to run more sustainable events. Monitoring is difficult sometimes because it is not in our hands to check the relevant guidelines. Example of this is that there are cases that is not possible to know the percentage of green energy that is provided from the energy companies. Would you like to
continue this part, Katerina? And then
Okay.
Section, yeah.
While the principle gets measured, gets managed is widely accepted, it is crucial to choose the right metrics. Selecting meaningful, relevant, and aligned metrics ensures that the management focus is directed toward factors that truly contribute to success. You don't have to measure everything in every stage. In deciding what to measure, consider what will give you good information for future management and improvement. What is compulsory to measure? Where there is good data and is easy to access them. What is expected by stakeholders that you measure and report? Which is the accepted practice in your industry? Remember, sustainability report is not just a compliance exercise. It's an opportunity to showcase your commitment to responsible and sustainable practices. Regularly updating and improving your sustainability reporting process will contribute to building trust and transparency with stakeholders over time. The survey questionnaire can be useful at this phase also. You can prepare your metrics before the event and then update your data. For example, you can count the waste produced during the event by counting the bins removed every day, or check your electricity bills before and after the event to calculate the energy consumption. The measurements in general needs preparation. Be proactive in order to gather data. Check the number of water refill stations and then count the bottles consumed by the invoices. Count the horses and athletes travel to the event and ask them which means of transport they used to arrive so you later be able to answer the questions about travel and transportation. Take sustainability under consideration in every choice of a vendor. The place that the consumed goods are prepared is important for sustainability. Also, with a brief online search, you can investigate if the suppliers of products or services have obtained sustainability certificates for their sector. There are labels that certify sustainability in almost every sector, from hotel and catering services to savings, as we saw before with the FSC labeling. Before we move to the next steps in 2024, I stop share and give the stage to Alice.
Yes, so Paul, I will invite you now to present. Paul is from the Mannheim organization, and he's going to share some of their experiences applying their sustainability strategies and how it's been working on site for them.
Great, thank you very much for having us here today. I'm trying to share my screen. Hopefully you will see the presentation then. Is it good to see already?
No, not. Oh, yes, it's
Oh,
just coming.
there we go.
Yes, we've got it. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, first of all, I think it's good having those kind of webinars, especially when we talk about the measures that can be taken, the highlighting which measures lead to which result, and especially looking at the way forward. What I would like to do within the next 10 minutes is giving you a short insight about how we approached the topic of sustainability that was brought up quite close to our show last year, and then give an insight of what we defined for us as factors to improve sustainability and how we try to improve in the future. In the end, of course, I think it's important even that we are not too big audience today to discuss a little bit and have some questions and answers. My name is Paul Hofmann. I'm currently managing shareholder and member of the executive board of Bahrain, which is a company selling screws, fasteners, nuts, bolts, or everything that is fasteners technology. However, I'm very connected to the sport. I was a former show jumper, unfortunately not anymore. Was doing Nations Cups as well. So I'm really excited about the series and about the sports itself, and support our horse show more or less since I can walk due to the fact that I'm the son of my father, Peter Hoffmann. So that is pretty easy. Before we go into our presentation, we gave some guidelines to ourselves and to our show. For example, what is the show itself? What are the goals of the show and the equestrian club behind it? What is our purpose? Talking about the welfare of the horse, the code of conduct for the welfare of the horse, our commitment to that. In our guidelines, we were describing as well that we want to be on that journey to be a sustainable event, and how we process that, and especially that we take social responsibility not only with the event itself, but also with the importance of the sport that is having much more to offer than only the sports, thinking about our approach, having the para-equestrians, for example, with all their audience included into a regular horse show, which is quite unique around the planet. Yeah, last year, more or less, you approached us and said, okay, there is the big sign or the big oxer of sustainability. And we were surprised at first hand and thought, how can we actually get over that? And of course, it is if someone is approaching with you with that requirement of a concept that was not really visualized or not written down, you first of all struggle a little bit and think, okay, how can I really do that? But the question in the end was indeed actually quite easy. It is about analyzing. It's about analyzing what do you want, what is your show doing, and just changing the perspective on how to approach. And of course, we also went then and said, okay, the big player and the big guidelines are written down in the Sustainability Development Goals of the United Nations, which are 17, which are not all covered from us or from our event. But I think, and that was highlighted before as well, it is even not possible to even cover all. That's why we define for us which sustainability factors can be linked to which process. Before we did that, we, however, changed our perspective on our show and described again what is our values and what are our visions on the show. So, for example, we want to be a reliable partner. We want to offer quality sports. There need to be good conditions for horses, riders, grooms. We want to have a happy atmosphere there so people go there and feel good. We want to take a leading role in terms of developing the sports, in terms of supporting the sports, in terms of supporting runners-ups and giving chances to young horses, young riders. And of course, we want to be, with this event, embedded in the strategy of our city of Mannheim, to be part of the sports city of Mannheim, linked down here on the left. And we want, and that we were readjusting then a little bit, sharing more transparency on our sustainability approach that comes along with tradition, because now over 60 years, this show is a fixed date within the sports calendar, and that doesn't come if I just think in long-term perspective. That comes if I think in sustainable periods, and that's why sustainability comes with tradition. So after we described our values and visions, we shared a few on which processes are run on our event. And that made it a little bit more difficult because, for example, if you think about transportation, there's so much going on. Like transportation means, how do riders come to the event? How do the horses come to the event? How do shuttle services work? How do visitors and spectators come to the show? So these are all different processes, but we try to sum it up and aggregate those actions to the different processes. So for example, then we define for us, there is a process on mobility. There's a process for the venue itself. There's a process for the catering, for hosting people, so everything that comes down to accommodation. Of course, for all stuff that needs to be purchased, neither services or goods for the event. A big topic that you were highlighting before as well, consumption and waste management. And of course, a kind of important step is communication. So this is an extract, not 100% of all our processes that we are having. And we defined also or investigated that main stakeholders of the show, like suppliers, like participants, like officials, like sponsors or spectators, do have a interest on what is going on the event, and we need to serve those interests. However, they themselves have an input of their action to our event. And thinking there about, of course, the national and international federations, due to there was not too much space on that slide anymore, they're meant to be under officials. So what did we do? In a nutshell, we analyzed what is going on our event, and how can we break this, what is going on, down in different processes, because this is the first and important step. Otherwise, you can't measure it. If you don't have the transparency on what is going on, you have no chance to measure. So far, so good. What did we do in the next step? We defined goals for us, because one thing I think everybody is aware of, we do the shows because we love the sport and we love the horses. However, in the end, we also need to serve ecological goals. We need to serve, of course, economical goals, because if we only write red numbers, tomorrow there won't be any show anymore where we can communicate and transport what our show is about and what our sport is about. And of course, we have a goal that comes down to a social responsibility. So means creating an added value for our community, for our federation, for our sport. And then we try to align all those processes that we described before to those goals. So all those processes need to contribute to the different goals. That can be one process is contributing to all of three, or only to one. So this is what we define then in the second step. And to give you an overview on that, we also added our areas of action to the different goals of the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations. So, for example, we have mobility that is contributing, for example, on climate action. Why? Because our goal is there to reduce CO2 emission, for example. We have the goal, if you look at number 8, of waste management, that is contributing as well to climate reduction. Why? Because if we reduce waste, if we separate waste, that has a major impact on how waste will be processed in the following processes, and will contribute to have better climate on our planet. This is maybe very high flying. That's why I choose 3 examples to highlight this. So mobility is shared within 4 dimensions for us. The use of public transport is connected with our ticket system. So last year there was a really nice success that all those people who were buying tickets to us, not all of them, as you obviously see, but a higher share of them use public transport to come to the event. Our goal, of course, is to improve that situation. That means in upfront to the event, if it is coming down to the ticketing, advertising, we also need to shed some light on that using the combo ticket has a impact on sustainability. Another topic that is probably very common with every show, the shuttle service for participants or officials during the show. So means transporting participants from the hotel to the show. We had a mix of cars last year that brought us a roughly 50% share with cars that are emission-free and not emission-free. So we thought that is an good topic to work on, because it has direct impact one impact is we could find an agreement today with our service partner or supplier at that point to have 100% emission-free shuttles for the transport of participants. And in addition to that, it also creates some more awareness of the topic, because people suddenly feel, okay, we're driving with that silent car, it's an e-car, it has lower emissions or no emissions at that point of when you drive it. So that has a good impact here as well. Maybe to highlight the last point here, short distance services. It was important for us to define that we are only working together with local partners. So everything that is delivered to our show is sourced from partners around the show, even with a very, very close circle of roughly, I think it must be 50 kilometers, so that we have a reduced impact of transport emissions on that point as well. So we really took care that all those suppliers are in short distance radios. Accommodation, another topic that we were highlighting, and where we already last year have for our status and for our defined measures and goals, a nice success rate. We only choose hotels that are within a 5-kilometer radius of the venue, and we only choose hotels that are already certified according to their sustainability impact. So, for example, there are some sustainability labels that hotels can apply for, and that then those hotels get rated, especially to your factors like waste management, like water management, and so on. And if they receive this label, they are for us good to go to work with, and these are our measures. We don't take hotels that are not fulfilling the standards, and having the label and having a certification makes it even interesting. However, talking about cost, this has a downside impact if you think about the economical goal that we were talking about some slides before, because if hotels, for example, fulfill this label, of course, they are having a higher cost because they take their measures to make a water waste reduction, to make a standard waste reduction, and so on. And of course, this impacts our prices and impacts the cost of the whole event. Quite similar to that stage, we also highlight our wood products. If you think about the shavings or all supplies that you need for building obstacles, or supplies that you need for having fixtures in the background of your show. Also there, we defined for us to only use PEFC certified suppliers to choose. The other measure that we took for us is, okay, can we reuse those used materials? And that also has a higher impact, because you don't just throw stuff away after the show. You store it, you rebuild it, you reassemble it to use it the next year again, and to have it probably also for another show that is asking for that supplies. So there is a different process behind that creates costs. Which is always nice, also nice to see, is that with our waste management, we could contribute to the disposal to biogas or composting plants. That is not easy. It's a trigger point. You need to take care on the especially horse waste separation. that is strictly divided between shavings and straw. However, if so, you have a chance to have to get those into biogas combusting plants and then can reuse this waste and transfer it and transform it into technology, into energy. So those were 3 of these 10 processes I picked to highlight, and probably because already many things were mentioned before, I just give you a short summary of our experience and how we did that. Because to be honest, those slides that we've seen before, they are extremely important because it all has to have a theoretical basis to work on. However, it is important to also understand that theory and transfer it into action is not too far away. It just needs an understanding and explanation in between. So what we learned is we need to look at sustainability in the right way. It's everyone's concern, and for us, it's a commitment to the planet, and we are convinced that it is the right way to go. And for us, and you mentioned it before, it is also a license to operate, because within our hometown, Mannheim is running their own sustainability strategy, and it will have an impact on events organizations. So all events need to be sustainable in the end as well. And we want to be prepared when this requirement is fully coming up. And that's why it is also important to understand this as a license to operate. And I think that's why the picture with this big ox in the beginning, it is important to just take the first step. And if you do so, you realize quite easy that many more steps will come. Key takeaway is, I think we need to cut our event down into smaller processes, make it more transparent, and then have the chance to measure those processes. And of course, we need to define those measures. This is something, and I think it was quite clear before as well, that is still not easy, because I think probably also from EEF side, there must be a chance to define, to have an aggregate result, which measures you want to see. And I think here we need to be really careful to find a result that everyone is working with, and everyone has the same chance to report the same measures. Because if you think, for example, at our water management system at the show, every drop of water that is coming to the showground is used in 2 ways. Neither it is supporting to have a great footage for the horses, and every drop of water that is overused by bringing it on the showgrounds, it is flowing directly into a kind of we call it biotope. It's a little lake and with a nearby neighborhood, and it's refilling this lake with water. So it means we don't have any waste of water. It is just used on another point. So that is hard to measure from our side. However, there you need then to differentiate, okay, what counts the amount of water brought up on or used on the event? How can you drop the reused water, or how you can subtract this reused water down from the used water to find your right numbers? So what I want to say in a nutshell is, by defining measures, it needs to be clear and transparent, that every show organizer can use it and can work with it. And I would like to offer you, if it is one day coming down to defining those measures, we are kindly happy to support or to work with you together at that point. because only seeing and monitoring results gives us the chance to set targets and to make improvements, kind of a plan, do, check, act circle as it is known. Yeah, more or less in a nutshell, what we do in terms of sustainability. That was in short extract out of it. Please feel free to ask any questions. I'm happy to answer those. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Paul. That was really, really insightful. I think there's a lot of takeaways there for all of us, all of the events, and just great to back up what Katerina was sharing as well, just seeing how it really works on site in a real life setting. Katerina, I hand back to you for the conclusion.
Okay. I'll share my screen.
Jo, keine Fragen, keine Antworten.
Okay, I'm continuing with our goals for 2024. The main one is to collect the sustainability data from all Longines EEF series events. The survey questionnaire will be available in the mailboxes of organizers of 2024 in the next days. And I remain at everyone's disposal for any further information on how to fill or to give again some ideas on how to use it before, during and during the event as a checklist, as we said, or as a tool to set targets. And we kindly ask to send your answers in the 10 days after the completion of your event. And in a short time after the receipt of the survey answers, I will contact you to review the answers together. When the season finishes, we will process all the data received, and in November, we will present the survey results to all organizers. We hope that we will have the opportunity to discuss all together, to discover best practices, to share in the team, and to find opportunities for further development. After this webinar, I will be glad to share with you some of the documents used for this presentation to enrich your sustainability toolbox. The source is the Institute of Sustainable Events, and I will be happy to share with you the Social Responsibility Actions Plan checklist to design your own positive outcomes for your event. The Sustainable Development Matrix with ideas on how to support a sustainable goal in an event. The stakeholder identification and issues tools that will help you to categorize stakeholders and determine the issues that are relevant to them. Or the explainer of what to measure with suggested metrics to gather data. Thank you.